Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a PS4 FAT that is in desperate need of a cleaning. Take a look at this and let me know what you think. And if it is like this on the outside, I cannot imagine the inside. Have a look. I don't know how this console even breathes anymore. So this console came to me because, not because she's dirty, but because it does not turn on. So when you click, it will beep once and then does not beep anymore. So let's open it and see what's going on. So to open it, we just need to slide this hard drive cover to the side until it clicks out. So this console was never opened and was bought in 2017 by the person who gave it to me to try and fix it. So let's start by opening it with a Phillips screwdriver, removing the hard drive. So I'm using this one because I don't have any other key with these tips. The hard drive doesn't look that bad. We now start to remove all the screws, which are Torx 8. They have a small bit on the middle, so you need a special tip for this. So we take them all out. So upon removing this little plastic, you see the screw for the PSU. I'm going also to take out the warranty stickers, leave them off glued, because this console is to fix and does not have a warranty anymore. These are Torx 8 with this small tip on the middle. To remove this cover, we need to pull it up and to us from the front of the console. There's a lot of dust gathering around the edges. To remove this, we pull it from the back up towards us. As you can see, it's a bit dirty, a bit rusty on this plate here. Let's see how we clean this. So we start to remove the screws from the PSU. There's two Phillips big ones, and there's a Torx 8 with the small tip on the middle. All the Torx screws on this console have that little tip. So this is my first time opening a console like this, a PS4 FAT, so I need to search for where to take the screws from, and that's why I'm searching. So we can see that the cooler is a bit dirty, and we now go to the next stage of the disassembling. Still removing Torx 8 screws. So we now remove the PSU, remove the little cable that connects to the board. Remember to pull on the wires and not on the connector itself, otherwise you will strip it from the board. If you have a pair of pliers, pull from the connector that is attached to the wires, not on the socket. We now remove the eject button board. That's at least the only thing it does, and it's a bit loose on this model, not sure why. We now remove the Wi-Fi antenna. We just remove a Torx 8 screw and then take it off the little connections, and to remove it completely from the board we just do a little pull and it comes out pretty easily. We now remove the flex cables that connect the Blu-ray drive to the board. We on one of them need to pull the little tab up so it disconnects. The Blu-ray disc just fell off, so it's quite nice. As you can see, some parts of this console that are white are not white, are yellow, and this is because the console came from a house where people smoke a lot while they're playing, so this is the reason why. We now remove the Phillips screws. The Torx, we had removed them before. So to remove this board, we just pull it out and up, and as you can see, this is nicotine. The only positive on this is that we see exactly the path that the air does to cool the console. We now remove the clip that holds the pressure on the processor. To remove this clip, I just unscrew one screw at a time until it comes out. Remember to remove the on and off switch, because otherwise the board will not come out. To remove the board, we just pull it up, and then we check the thermal paste, which is a bit wet still in the middle, which is impressive, and dry on the sides. So we now do an eye inspection on the board to check for fails, flaws. We check here that this looks like a small capacitor that's blown. It may not be. We'll check that, but it does seem that one of them blew out. Let's see. These are the chips behind the part that was supposedly blown. It seems okay. We'll see that later. Here again it looks like burned, but I believe it's just residue. We now remove the 3 Phillips screws that we missed here. So we now remove the board, and as you can see here, I thought this would gonna be clogged, but it's not. It just has a few bits attached to it. I'm not sure what they are, but it's fine. Has bits of residue, looks like calcareum. Never seen something like this. We now remove the Phillips screw of the cooler and remove the cooler. As you can see, the cooler is dirty but not clogged as I'm used to see. It's just sticky and smells a lot like tobacco. If you could sense the smell, you would know, especially for someone who doesn't smoke like me. But well, we'll take care of it. The plastic board is full of debris and spider webs. I believe the debris are rests of dirt that came into the console. Well, we now remove this little clip over here that holds the Blu-ray and the power supply. The plastic bits, I will not even try to clean them here, so I'll put them all together and into the dishwasher. So here a sink full of hot water, very hot water, fairy, and scrub it with the brush to remove all the remains of tobacco and dirt. Here, as you can see, the water looks like a tea of tobacco, very brown. We now rinse all the parts, then clean them with the microfiber cloth and put them outside on the sun until they are dry. On this part here, I avoid putting them in the water because they may get rusted, so I clean them with the dashboard cloth. As you can see, this is really hard to remove, so I tried everything with the dashboard cloths, with water and soap, and now with some isopropyl alcohol. It does remove a little bit, but it's really hard, so I just decided to then open up the power supply. My bit was a bit too short to get into there, but eventually it got in it. If you ever open one of these, make sure to be careful, because they may electric shock you and kill you. This one, for example, has a 400 watt condenser, and it's pretty nasty if it shocks you. So I opened it. To open it, you just pull the two parts, one up, one down. Eventually it will open. So this is how it looks like inside. It's pretty dirty with nicotine, tobacco, whatever, and well, it is what it is. Once again, I grabbed the plastics and the metal boards all in the sink and scrubbed them so they could be at least a little bit clean. I used a green brush and then a green sponge to remove everything. Same thing, hot water, fairy, and this scrub to remove the dirt, because otherwise it will not go out. So after cleaning, we rinse everything, and the metal ones at least clean them straight away with a microfiber cloth to remove all the water. On the board, I took a tryout and cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol. I used rubber gloves so that I wouldn't get shocked in case there was any charge on the big brown capacitor over there. I decided to take a few measurements in terms of voltage to see if I could find any connections here or something like that, but did nothing. Not even the 400 watt capacitor had anything. So I decided just to take this one out and buy a new one. So I found a guy on a Portuguese platform called OLX, and he receives the damaged ones and sells you a new one just for 20 euros, which is quite nice. So I decided to use his services, and it went well. He's an honest person, and he sent me a new one. I'll leave a link below if you want to use his services. He's a nice guy, so feel free. Obviously, if you have a dirty PSU unit like this one is, make sure to clean it a little bit before sending it to someone, otherwise people will get disgusted by it and may not work on it. So I decided to take a few measurements, but well, it's not worth it. So we now clean the cooler with isopropyl alcohol, a toothbrush, some cotton swabs, cotton. On the metal parts I also used soapy water and rubbed it as much as I could and did my best to clean this guy out. Here, as we can see, it's now a bit different from what it was. We now open the Blu-ray drive. These are all Phillips screws. So we now remove all the dust that was gathered due to the air circulation. use a bit of cotton and isopropyl alcohol to clean the flex cables as much as we can in order for them to be a little hygienic. We put the screws back on. As you can see, where the air passes on this console, everything was pretty dirty. We now remove the top part, which is actually the bottom part on the console. Remove the CD that was stuck inside. As you can see, it's a bit dirty. In these cases, it's always good to clean the lens. Take care with this, a bit of alcohol on cotton swab, and we also clean the rollers because they were very sticky. If they are too sticky, they won't get the CD in properly or get it very dirty and may scratch the CD as well, so make sure always to clean the rollers, in this case with alcohol. So apply a bit of pressure when cleaning with the cotton swab and you see the results straight away. This dirtness may be because of grease on the fingers, dirt on the CD itself, and the job that these parts do, since they are a bit sticky, it's to grab the dirt to avoid it going in to the CD reader and then damage it eventually. This one had the lens with a bit of nicotine, so now it's okay. It should work when we use it. So I could have cleaned this reader a lot better, but I would have to take it all apart, every piece, and it was kind of dried out, so I was a bit afraid of breaking any, and I decided just to do superficial cleaning with isopropyl alcohol and cotton, and that should work it out. So we now close the reader and go to the motherboard, do a bit of cleaning with isopropyl alcohol. I could not take this battery out, I'm not sure why, it was very stuck. Probably it is like that. It is reading almost 3 volts as you can see, so it should be okay until the next time it comes, which I assume it will be on the next 2 years, 3 years maybe. So to remove the remains of the thermal paste, we just swap a bit of isopropyl alcohol on a cotton swab and remove the ones that is dried out and the one that is humid, and it's fairly easy to do. We just scrub it and it will go away. So we do a bit of a scrub with the toothbrush to remove the remains of the thermal pastes, and then pass it on to the motherboard to remove all the nicotine and tobacco and dust and whatever it has on the board. Make sure to scrub it a bit harder. And on this part here where we saw the little blown capacitor, I cleaned it as well with isopropyl alcohol. It then seems to be okay. As this is a dedicated part for the optical out and the owner does not use it, I just left it as is. I would not lose my time to do a small repair like this one, and then it will not be necessary. This video is dedicated to the cleaning of the console, not exactly repairing it, but we'll put a new power supply as I already told. So as you can see, this is the cleaned capacitor. It looks not very good, but it's okay. Sometimes by removing the little, I don't know, coal that is left from the explosions that is conductive will then start working again. So as I said, this part is not used, so to change something this small I would have to buy a capacitor just for that, and it's not worth my time. So we continue to clean with isopropyl alcohol the back part of the board. So now with a bit of soapy water, we just clean the metallic part here with a microfiber cloth. We also clean this Wi-Fi antenna and all the accessories that need cleaning, just with this bit of cloth with water. The flex cable for the eject button as well. So we now clean the eject button and the eject button board with a bit of isopropyl alcohol. As you can see, the dirtiness on the cloth. And we need to wait for the new power supply unit to arrive, so we'll be right back.
3 days later.
So we now reassemble the console. 3 days have passed. The new PSU arrived, and I obviously had this not disassembled, but I assembled it and disassembled it back to do the video. Now it's much cleaner than it was. It's not perfect, but well, it's way better than it was before. And we just assemble it back, which is the reverse process of disassembling, so it's fairly easy to do. Now we put the motherboard. Just a reminder, I will not be putting thermal paste now because I want to test to see if the PSU unit will work and the console will boot up, and we apply the thermal paste if everything works. So I will not be explaining how to assemble back, so it's the reverse process of disassembling, so any questions just pull the video back and see again, but it's fairly simple. So we just accelerate the video and go. here it is, the brand new power supply. It has the void seal. So we now place the little cable into the board and into the PSU unit and put it together and test it. So we leave it as is now just to test it. Now the moment of truth. And there we go, it's working. Awesome, people, nice job. So it does not have the hard drive, so that's why it doesn't go to the white light, but I will take off the cable to avoid overheating because it does not have the thermal paste, and we'll do that after. So let's do it. So I did a little skip to the part where I put the thermal paste. This is a barely empty tube that I had here, so I'm just putting the remains that it has, because thermal paste is not cheap, unfortunately. And then I'll use another one which is almost empty, because they are sold like that, and use the little spatula to spread it around the chip. The little spatula comes with the thermal paste. I will just cover all the chip just like this. So once done, I apply a small blob of thermal paste on the middle, just to avoid when we screw the screws and apply pressure, it doesn't create an air bubble on the middle, so that all the area is covered by thermal paste. There is a YouTuber that tested this theory, and he says that it's the best way to apply the thermal paste. The battery, as you can see, still about 3 volts, so I'll leave it as is. It's roughly okay. So we reassemble the console back to then test it and see if everything is working or not. once applied the thermal paste and putting the clamp, I usually screw the screws once at a time. So I do a small screwing on one, another one on another one, and so on until it's fully compressed, so that the thermal paste spreads evenly throughout the chip. as I usually do, I now clean it with a dashboard wipe to make it shine and remove any dirt that is still on the console after cleaning, so that it looks great before it goes back to its owner, so that it then looks awesome. And there it is, we now have the console completely clean. What was once a PS4 that was completely dirty is now shining as new. It looks almost brand new. So I'm happy with the work I did, and I saved the console from probably staying on a corner in the house abandoned or on the trash. So let's now do the ultimate test. We turn it on to the TV and see what happens. And there it is, it's working now. Yeah, man, cool. So, well, it is what it is. It's working now. The console was retrieved. So this was a cleaning video with the restoration, because I put a new PSU unit. Huge thanks to the guy that supplied me with a cheap PSU unit. I'll leave a link to his platform, and hopefully you guys can use his services as well and make him a good known person to fix these kind of things. So subscribe, leave a like, help me. You don't pay anything for that, so feel free to watch my other videos. Big hug to everyone, and hopefully see you on the next video. See you everyone, goodbye.